Hey friends, Jeanette here. A while back I started a playlist all about the psoas muscle and the different techniques that you can use, different approaches depending on your preferences and your body type to relieve chronic tension in the psoas muscle. And today I thought it would be great to give you a complete practice for the psoas, and it's going to include a mix of all the different techniques that I broke down into separate videos before. So before we dive in, please make sure you give a thumbs up, like this video, and subscribe so that you'll be notified whenever you have access to brand new videos from me, Jeanette Connery, Yoga Therapy. Let's get started. All right, before we get started, I just want to remind you of my #1 rule in every yoga video and every class: no pain allowed. If any of these movements cause pain or discomfort for any reason at all, please don't do them. Change them if you need to, and you also have permission to skip anything completely. We're going to get started laying on the back with legs on a chair. So for this practice, you will need a chair. You will also need a block or a rolled towel. And I actually have a video on how to make a block out of a towel, so check that out if you need to. And you'll also need a pillow or a bolster. So we're going to lay down on the back with the legs on the chair like this. Okay. And you can put your arms out to the side if that feels good to you, with the palms facing up. This helps to release a little bit of tension in the chest. And we'll start with some very simple breathing here, because we know that breathing creates relaxation, and relaxation can release chronically tight tissues. So inhale through your nose. And as you exhale, try to make that exhale as long as you can. And if you found that difficult, you're not alone. Many people do. My advice to you is to try pretending that you're blowing through a straw. So let's try that again. Inhaling through the nose and exhale, pretending that you're blowing through a straw, putting your lips together, making a little hole. And as you exhale, imagine your body getting heavier. Feel into all of the muscles in your face and see that they're getting softer. Another breath here. This time, as you exhale, check in with the back of your body, finding out if there are any muscles there that can relax a little bit more. Now, this is a breathing technique that you can use anytime, anywhere, to help yourself relax, to help yourself be more present. Good. Last one. And next, we're going to bring the left knee in towards the chest. Placing the foot on the edge of the chair, you can interlace your fingers around that knee and maybe even bring the knee in closer. And as you hold this, try to relax all the muscles in your hip, in your legs, in your belly, everything below the waist. Those muscles will no doubt try to turn themselves back on again and again, so just keep coming back to letting them go. We'll continue with the same breath that we started with, inhaling through the nose and exhaling slowly through a hole between the lips. Good. So on the next inhale, we can put that leg back on the chair. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead, stretching out the front of your body. Exhale, bringing those arms back down again. And then we'll do the same thing on the right side, bringing the knee in, interlacing the fingers around the knee. And if you bring the knee in and it feels really tight or uncomfortable, you can always back out of that. Another thing that you need to know is that if you're really tight in the front of your hip, you might not be able to get your hands around your knee very easily. In that case, you could use a strap or a belt to make your arms longer, holding on like this. But whatever way you're doing it, be relaxed. Let the muscles of your lower body relax. Relax the shoulders down away from the ears. And continue the breathing. Inhale through the nose, long, slow exhale through the mouth. Good. And now we can put the left leg back on the chair. Inhale the arms up overhead, stretching out again, maybe even wiggling a little through the hips. And then as you exhale, bring your hands down to your sides, and then we're going to push the chair away. Sorry about the noise. All right, so next we're going to do some pelvic movements, and we'll start by just tilting the pelvis forward and back. So take a breath, and as you exhale, point your tailbone up at the ceiling, tilting the pelvis back towards you. And then on the inhale, tilt your pelvis away from you, pointing your tailbone down towards the floor. And we'll continue that movement with the breath. Inhaling, tailbone points to the floor. Exhaling, tailbone points up. Try to let this movement come without a lot of tension in the legs. Perhaps you can feel your abdominal muscles helping out. Good. Next, we're going to try side to side. Just feeling the way it feels to move the pelvis side to side. We're not doing a lot of knee movement here. You'll notice that we're not doing windshield wipers. My knees are staying pretty much where they are. Just doing a little side to side movement, left to right. And then finally, we can put all those movements together, starting in the center in a relaxed position. We'll take a breath. And as we exhale, we'll tilt the pelvis towards us so that the tailbone is pointing up at the ceiling. And then we'll tip to the side and then go around, tailbone pointing to the mat, around to the other side, and back where we started. So we're making circles. We'll do about 3-4 circles. We'll do 4. We'll do 4. So that's number 2. Slowly making these circles, giving yourself a chance to feel the tissues as they move, becoming even more aware of your body by noticing smaller things that you might not have noticed if you were going faster. Okay, good. So next we can reverse direction. We'll do 4 in the opposite direction too. Now, one thing I want to say about this is later on, after you watch this video, tomorrow, the next day, if you want to do this move again, you can certainly do it as long as you like, if it feels good, because I'm only doing it for a short period during this video to keep the video short. I don't I don't want to linger here too long, but if you like any of the movements that we're doing, you can certainly add them to your daily routine however you like. Okay, so settling back into the center now. All right, and then we're going to stretch the legs out on the floor. Inhale the arms up overhead. Really stretch out the front of the body, and then reach through the right heel. And then reach through the left heel. It feels really good. So you can do that a couple more times if you like. Good. So this next one's going to be a little bit more active. We're going to be using the psoas muscle, building strength in it and building its resilience across a wide range of motion. So with both of your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor, we'll start on the right side, straightening the right leg with the bottom of the foot facing the ceiling. Okay, take a deep breath. And as you exhale, pull your belly down, flatten the low back towards the floor, and knit your abdominal muscles together like you're bringing the bottom of your ribs towards your pubic bone and your pubic bone towards your bottom ribs. Okay, and then we're going to lower the leg and then lift, keeping it as straight as possible, bringing it as far up as possible. Okay, and we'll do that about 8 times. Exhaling to bring the leg up, inhaling to lower the leg, using the abdominal muscles to stabilize everything. So your body shouldn't be wobbling side to side as you do this. If it is, just know that as you get stronger, that will decrease. Just add extra focus to the abdominal muscles. That's number 6. 7, 8. Good. Okay, so we're going to lower that leg all the way down. Relax that leg as much as possible. Take a deep breath and then reach through that right heel, lengthening out. And then relax, coming back to starting position with both feet flat on the floor and the knees bent. So, towards the end of that set, you might have been feeling a sensation of a muscle that could be new to you, and it's a muscle that runs from your belly down to your thigh, and you would be feeling that in the front of your hip. That's your psoas muscle. Okay, we want that sensation because that means that you're using that muscle and it's getting stronger. So let's try that on the other leg. Left leg straight up to the ceiling. Knit the bottom ribs down, engage the abdominals, and then inhale to lower the leg. Exhale to lift. We'll do this 8 times. You don't really want to feel your lower back popping up off the floor as you lower your leg. If you do, then you can try lowering your leg a little bit less, like maybe right here instead of all the way down, and that'll protect your back. Okay, last one. Last time, bringing that leg up. Good. And then we'll put the foot. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we're going to lower the leg all the way down to the floor. Relax completely. And then reach through that left heel, lengthening out the left side of the body from the waist down. Good. Now, let's get ready to come to tabletop position on the hands and knees. Roll over onto your side and then come up to the tabletop position. If your knees are really sensitive, you can certainly add an extra pad underneath with a blanket or a towel, whatever you have on hand. And this is where we're going to use the block or your rolled up towel. Please place that prop between your knees, between your thighs above the knee. And we're going to find our perfect tabletop position with the wrists underneath the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips, tuck your toes. We're going to take a big inhale, and as you exhale, lift the knees and shift back into a triangular shape with your body. Keeping the tips of your toes pointing squarely forward. Feet are parallel to each other. Holding that block between your legs makes you feel like there's a little bit of internal rotation in the thighs. And then we're going to inhale, bringing the knees down. And we're going to flow, exhaling back into downward facing dog. Inhaling, bringing the knees down, really using your core to support your spine as you go. Exhaling back. Inhaling, bringing the knees down as you pull your belly button up. Flowing with the movement of your body, the movement of your breath. Coming into, through, and out of the pose. If you give your block a little squeeze as you go, and you imagine bringing your legs towards your body as you shift back into downward facing dog, you might feel that psoas muscle. Let's try that now. Pulling the legs towards the body as you shift back into that triangular shape. And if you're holding your pose today, if you're holding your downward dog, you get to decide how long you want to hold it. You can try playing around with that idea of bringing the legs towards the body. Energetically, not really moving the legs here. While you squeeze the block. You're free to come out of the pose as soon as you feel fatigued. You're also free to hold the pose as long as you like. And finally, when we're done holding Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog, we'll bring the knees down to the floor. Bring the hands forward, shift back into child's pose just for one moment to give those arms a break. And then we're going to use downward facing dog to come up to standing. So find your tabletop, engage your abdominals, pulling the belly button up, take a breath, and as you exhale, shift back into downward facing dog. Release your block. just like that. And walk your feet halfway to your hands, keeping a wide stance, taking one foot on either side of the mat, and then bending your knees as much as you need to. Then you can bring your elbows up to your thighs, and you find yourself in a squat type position. This is a really safe way to come to standing from the floor if you have an injured back. We'll just come straight up. Good. So blanket can go away now. Thank you, blanket. And we're going to find ourselves in mountain pose with the toes pointing forward, rolling the shoulders back, maybe even doing a little wiggle here. Then inhale the arms up. And as you exhale, maintain equal pressure through each foot as you lean over to the side. And then inhale center and exhale other side. Now, I have my hands interlaced, my fingers interlaced. You don't have to do that. You can have your hands palms facing each other like this. Okay? And if your shoulders don't really want to bring your arms up like this, don't worry about that. You can do an open gesture. This is victory arms, where we're squeezing the shoulder blades together behind to maintain integrity in the upper back as we do this side bend. Okay, so doing great. All right, so now we're going to settle back into center. Well done, yogis. The next move we're going to try is downward facing dog. Oh my gosh. The next move we're going to try is Warrior One. We'll start facing the short edge of the mat, bringing the right foot forward and the left foot back. Something really important to know about the foot position is that you can take your feet out a little closer to the long edges of your mat. And if you do that, that makes a wider base and it makes it a lot more stable for you, just in case balance is something that you're still working on. Okay, so next we're going to feel into the legs as we bend the front knee and come forward a little bit, and then straighten front knee. Just testing this out, right? We want to make sure that the knee is tracking straight over the second toe. And we also want to make sure that the knee is directly on top of the ankle. So if you're here, chances are you might need to bring that foot forward a little. Okay? And that's to protect your knee from long-term injury. So let's try that one more time, just making sure the alignment feels right. Good. And as you come forward, bending that knee, you can press the back heel down into the floor, and you'll really feel some engagement in the glute muscles when you do that. Let's incorporate the breath. Inhaling forward and exhaling back. So if you want to use your arms for this pose as well, you can bring the arms up as you come forward and down as you come back. next, you have the option of holding if that's what you want to do. You could come forward, bringing the arms up, and pause here. Really feeling into all the points of alignment, the feet on the floor, the pressure in the back foot, the engagement of the gluteal muscles on your left side, and that earth energy traveling all the way up the back of your leg, all the way up the left side of your rib cage, lifting you tall, lengthening out that psoas muscle on the left side. Finally, exhaling, we can bring the hands down, and we can come back to mountain pose, facing the short edge of the mat this time. Just pausing between sides, taking a little break to integrate and to compare left side to right side. Is there a difference? Notice what there is to notice. And then we can go into Warrior One on the opposite side with the left foot forward and the right foot back. Try to remember all the points of alignment from before on your own. Don't worry, I'll give them to you in a second, but I just want to see if we can bring a little brain exercise into this too. Where should the knee be? Okay, the knee should be, oh, yeah, see, I need to move my foot. There we go. The knee should be right on top of the ankle. Toes pointing forward. Back foot pressing into the mat. Inhale forward, arms come up. Really lengthening out through the entire right side of the body this time, from the heel all the way up to the shoulder, through the hands, even through the top of the head. Exhaling back. And if you like, you can hold now. Remembering all the points of alignment, really starting to embody the earth energy, lifting, supporting you, aligning the bones so that the muscles don't have to work so hard. Good. Exhaling, we can bring the hands down, straightening the front leg, and come back to mountain pose, facing the top of the mat. And place your hands for a moment on your low belly. Inhale into your hands. And as you exhale, pull your low belly in and feel your low back lengthen. Tailbone pointing down at the floor. Lift yourself up from the rib cage. Good. Next, we're going to try Utkatasana, chair pose. And I'm going to do this, I'll model it for you sideways and forward. So as we do our chair pose, we're going to have the block between the thighs, like that. And we're going to inhale the arms up, hands together, and exhale. Let the knees track perfectly forward. Thighs are perfectly parallel. And the tailbone points back as we sink into a squat. Now please try to engage these gluteal muscles in the back for some support. And then we'll come up. Exhale the hands down. And to use this pose to really condition your psoas muscle, we're going to add focus here on this part of the body. as you sink down into your squat, I want you to imagine these 2 points coming together. Now you can even put your hands here, right where I have mine, and sink down, pulling like you have rubber bands there. And I can totally feel my psoas right now. And then we can engage the gluteals, sink as low as you can comfortably without pain while keeping the back straight. And then we're going to inhale up. Exhale. Sink back again. Still focusing on these muscles. And you can keep your hands there if you need to get that engagement going. Or you can move your arms like I'm doing. Engaging the glutes here, making sure those glutes are turned on all the way down. And then inhaling up. If you're not feeling it quite yet, try engaging your abdominal muscles too. They should always be engaged when doing this kind of a movement anyway. And turning them on will certainly help you activate that psoas muscle. Okay, last one. And coming to Samasthitihi, equal standing pose. Hands in Anjali Mudra in front of your heart. A gesture of presence. Benevolent goodwill towards your body. Thank your body. Body, you work so hard and you carry me through every moment of my life. It really is a blessing to have you. Okay, now we can take that block out. And we might need a little stretch for those psoas muscles after that intense workout. So let's place the hands, fingertips down on the top of the butt and squeeze the shoulder blades together. Bend your knees slightly, engage your quads, and then push into your glutes to lift yourself up as you lean back a little. We do not need to go really far to get the job done. A little bit of glute engagement is good here, 20 or 30% of your max. And then we'll come back to standing and take those feet wide again. Toes pointing out a little bit. Bend the knees, keeping the back straight. Elbows on the thighs, and we're going to just stretch the back a little. So in this position, you can actually feel some traction in your low back, especially if you're pulling your shoulders down away from your ears. And then if you like, you can start straightening your legs to the amount that it takes to find just the right amount of stretch. And then when we're done stretching the backs of the legs, we can bring the hands down onto the mat, come down to all fours, resting in child's pose for just a moment. Take a big breath into the upper back here and let it out slowly. This is called back breathing. Something I learned from one of my teachers, Rama Jyoti Vernon. She's left the body now, but her teaching is so good. It's wonderful that she left behind books for me and all of my friends, and for you if you like. Coming back to the body. Good. We're going to transition into Shavasana, the absolute best pose, my favorite. This is where you're probably going to want a pillow or a bolster to put underneath your knees. And you can have a blanket to put under your head if you know that your neck is going to have some tension. If you're short like me, pull the blanket or pull the pillow or the bolster all the way up underneath the thighs. However tall you are, your heels should be touching the floor. Okay? Lie with your hands in a comfortable position. There's no wrong way to do Shavasana. The whole point of this pose is to relax and allow your body to integrate the new programming that you've just put into it. Thank you so much for joining me for this therapeutic Psoas yoga practice. May all beings everywhere be happy and peaceful, free from the causes of their suffering, including me and including you. And I bow to the light in you because it's the same as the light in me. Namaste.